Hey, I'm Dan Ohlerking. I'm the online campus pastor at Healing Place Church, and I'm really excited to get to do this, to talk about some aha moments. Actually, one aha moment we're supposed to talk about that we've had in our lives. And I tell you what, mine is really, I don't know how to talk about it without it being a string of aha moments that have all added up together. But a few months ago, I was sitting in Pastor Dino's office, and he told me, he said, hey, I know you've been working with the missions here, and that's really a lot of your heart, but I really need you right now. I want to shift things for you. It's not the first time we've had a conversation like that where I sit in his office and he says, okay, look, everything's changing. It's the way we roll around here. It's cool. Totally love it. Our heart is just, everybody on staff here, it's just our heart, do whatever the team needs you to do. So it was totally cool. But he said, hey, what I need you to do is we want to start an online campus. I was like, that's cool. I love that. And so when he said that, my mind flashed back immediately to several months ago, probably I don't even know how long ago it was, that I sat in my loft at my house and I watched on my computer as lifechurch.tv launched their online campus. I don't know if it was the actual first time they'd done it, but it was what they're calling their launch. And I sat there and I thought, while I was watching that, I thought, this is amazing. The potential in this is amazing. It was an aha moment for me. And that flashed me back even further, all the way to, and this will give away some age here, but 1982, I'm in the Philippines. My parents are missionaries. I'm going to a missionary kids school called Faith Academy, and I had the opportunity to sign up for a class. Well, computers sounded like fun, sounded cool. You had an air-conditioned classroom in the Manila. That was a really cool thing to have. So I got in the AC classroom, and my teacher, Al Farland, he did more for me than he'll ever know, but he taught us about computer programming. But the thing that he did with this, he didn't just teach computer programming. He taught about the idea of using computers to communicate the gospel. Somewhere along the way, he planted that seed. I mean, we were working on TRS-80s. If you're old enough to remember this, you'll laugh. If you're not old enough, you can laugh about that. But TRS-80 Model 1 computers all hooked together to a TRS-80 Model 3. We're loading our semester projects off of a cassette drive. Cassette data, okay? Cassettes. We're using that to load our semester project. So it takes 20 minutes for you to load your project. You work on it for 20 minutes, then you save for 20 minutes. And hopefully nothing goes wrong in that process, or you start over. So I stayed after school a lot working on my semester project. But what I did, my project, this was, again, part of what the seed that Coach Farland had planted in me, was the idea that my project was taking a gospel tract, navigator tract of the bridge, Jesus, the cross, there's a gulf, God here, us here, we can't get across. God puts the cross in the middle, and he goes across to us, we come across to him. So I'm doing all this with animation. Now, we're not talking like Shrek animation. We're talking about animation where you can't hardly do it drawing from right to left. You have to make everything go left to right because you're drawing a pixel at a time. Anyway, it may be geeking out some of y'all, maybe freaking out some of y'all. But I did this project, and it was, my heart with it was, hey, I've got on a disc now at the end of this. I had a 5 1/4 inch floppy disk. By the time that semester was over, we had those. And I had a disc that had a gospel tract on it. The distribution was going to be insane if I tried to go anywhere, but that planted something in me that when later I was watching Life Church TV, lifechurch.tv doing their online campus, it triggered something. And when I think even further back, I think, wow, what an amazing line God's taken me through. Because even before that 1982 class, my parents made me take a typing class. I mean, you're talking 1981. It ain't cool to be a guy taking a typing class, okay? Electric typewriters, again, electric, at least it wasn't manual typewriters. We're typing in there, and it's a bunch of girls, me and a bunch of girls in a class. Doesn't sound so stupid if you're a single guy in high school, but it seemed crazy to me. I didn't want to do it, but my dad insisted, and I took that class. But you know what? That's what got me over the hump to take my computer class. I wasn't afraid of the computer keyboard. I just jumped in, got in, it was all natural, everything was cool. So typing class actually turned into be a good thing for me, and all my thoughts, all this rambling of thoughts that have gone through my life, of my head, about computers and gospel, computers and ministry, computers and missions. You know what? It's amazing to me to think, looking back now, what I get to do today, how God has orchestrated all of this to put it together. The burden he's put in my heart for missions, letting me grow up as a missionary kid, calling me to serve as a missionary, and letting me do that. So much of my life I've been able to do that, be overseas and serve and help missionaries go and stuff, and be a part of that. And I will continue to be a part of that. But being an online campus pastor, you know what? I'm getting to minister to people in Pakistan, people in the Philippines. While I'm in Baton Rouge, I'm ministering to people in the Philippines. I'm ministering to people all over the world right from where I am. And I tell you what, this is my aha moment. It's not a pitch for online ministry. I mean, take it or leave it if you want it. It could be that. I don't mind. But really what it is, I've got three things that this aha for me about realizing what is going on. The aha really, number one, is my plan is not necessarily God's plan. When I was a kid, knew God had called me to missions. This is not the plan that I had. This was not how I pictured it happening. But you know what? That's okay. I'm not God. I'm not omniscient. I don't know the future. I don't know everything. And that realization has saved me all kinds of struggle fighting against the changes that come. You know, I could have gotten bitter. Pastor Dino says, hey, we're going to move you from missions to be an online campus pastor. He could have gotten upset about that. But you know what? I've realized earlier on in life, that doesn't pay off. What good is that? I'm going to fight against what God's doing? I didn't control that. I didn't make it happen. It happened to me. So I take it and I move forward. Another aha for me. Parents are smart. That was an aha in that whole process for me. My dad and mom have helped me so much. And just making the simple thing of insisting I take that typing class, it was an aha for me. Now I can type, and much of the ministry I do is through my fingers, not through my mouth. And it's such a crazy thing to think, wow, how smart your mom and dad are. And then the other one, really, if there's any one big thing, this is it. It's even when you think your life isn't moving forward, that you're not moving ahead, God is not wasting your time. Be patient. Keep listening to him. He's not wasting your time. You may think you're on a big old detour, don't understand why you're having to go way around this whole thing. God is not wasting your time. He's building something in you. And you know what I found out, even in the things that have been a mistake that I've made, that have made a detour, legitimately I messed up, didn't do the right thing, put me on a detour. You know what? As God brought me back on track, those things that I learned along the way, the hard lessons, the easy things, the good things, the bad things, everything that he has put together in my life, he has always put it together for the good. Things that I did as a result of doing something wrong, I was in the wrong place. God even orchestrated that into being part of what he wanted me to be. So I don't understand how God can do that. I'm just thankful he does. Just know that God is never wasting your time. Be patient. Listen to him. And if there's one thing, that's it right there. Listen to God. There will be a lot of aha moments for you if you just listen for his voice.